Imagine looking into a crystal-clear pond, expecting to see your own face, but instead, a completely different creature stares back at you. That is exactly what happens to Ollie, a tiny, furry little guy, and Ivy, a massive, green, leafy bird, when they suddenly swap bodies. The crazy part? These two are sworn enemies. Welcome to a magical world known as the Valley. It is a breathtaking forest filled with the most bizarre animal-plant hybrids you have ever seen. But this beautiful place hides a very dark reality. Survival here is incredibly hard. Ollie is a puku, a small, brown, otter-like creature who relies on his big brain to invent tools just to stay alive. Ivy, on the other hand, is a majestic Javan bird. She gets to soar high above the danger, living a life of privilege in the canopy. For years, the powerful Javans have been stealing all the food from the tiny pukus, pushing Ollie's family to the brink of starvation. Ollie hates the birds. Ivy doesn't even notice the pukus exist, but this moment would change everything. Things were getting desperate on Puku Island. The Javans had completely taken over, swooping down and gobbling up all the precious piplets, the only food keeping the pukus alive. Ollie couldn't just sit back and watch his family starve in the dirt. He had to do something. Armed with his homemade gadgets, Ollie marches up to the surface to drive the giant birds away. That is when he bumps into Ivy, who is busy foraging for her younger sisters, completely oblivious to the pain her flock is causing. A fierce argument breaks out. Feathers are flying, fur is bristling, and in the chaos, they stumble into a hidden grove. Sitting right in the center of the grove is a strange, glowing, magical pod. It pulses with an ancient, mysterious energy. Ollie steps back, his instincts screaming at him. "Ollie, don't touch that thing," he whispers to himself, feeling a shiver down his spine. But Ivy, confident and curious, tilts her head. "What's the worst that could happen?" she chirps, reaching out a leafy wing. Flash! A blinding light engulfs the forest. When the light finally fades, the forest is dead silent. Ollie groans and rubs his head, but something is wrong. His tiny paws are gone. Instead, he sees giant green wings. He stumbles backward, tripping over his own massive talons. Across the grass, Ivy wakes up. She tries to stretch her wings, but she can't. She looks down and gasps. She is tiny, brown, and covered in fur. Panic sets in. They both scramble toward the edge of a nearby pond. They peer over the edge, looking down at their reflections. In the shimmering water, the truth hits them like a ton of bricks. Ollie is trapped inside the body of a Javan bird, his worst enemy, and Ivy is stuck in the weak, grounded body of a little puku. They scream, pointing at each other in total disbelief. And honestly, you would scream too. Ollie immediately tries to run back to his family to get help, but things were about to get worse, much worse.
Ollie bursts into the underground puku burrow, waving his new leafy wings and trying to explain what happened. But his family takes one look at the giant bird standing in front of them and panics. To them, Javans are heartless monsters. They think this giant bird has eaten Ollie. His own family attacks him, chasing him out of the only home he has ever known. Heartbroken and alone, Ollie retreats to the forest. There he finds Ivy, who is shivering in the mud, completely terrified. For the first time in her life, she cannot just fly away from danger. She feels how cold, dangerous, and scary the forest floor really is. They have no choice. If they ever want to get their lives back, these two sworn enemies have to team up. Desperate for answers, they seek out a wise creature known as the booglefish. The fish listens to their crazy story and tells them there is only one cure. They need to find another magical pod. But these pods are incredibly rare. The booglefish reveals that the only place to find one is at the legendary Great Waterfall, growing on the remains of the ancient zoos. Now, the zoos were magical, living orchards that used to provide food for the entire valley. But years ago, they mysteriously vanished, which is why everyone is fighting over food today. To reach the waterfall, Ollie and Ivy must cross the deadliest parts of the forest. And remember, Ollie doesn't know how to fly this giant bird body, and Ivy doesn't know how to survive as a tiny creature on the ground.
Their journey gets off to a terrible start. While walking through the deep woods, they stumble upon a lost tree wolf pup. Before they can even react, the bushes rustle, and an entire pack of massive, snarling tree wolves surrounds them. Ollie and Ivy sprint for their lives, diving headfirst into a dark, creepy underground cave to escape. They breathe a sigh of relief until the walls start moving. The cave isn't made of stone. It's a nest of root snakes. These terrifying monsters have bark-like scales to blend in with trees and glowing green eyes that pierce the darkness. They hunt by feeling vibrations in the ground. If they make a single sound, they are dead. Ivy is completely paralyzed with fear, but then she notices something amazing about her new puku body. Her sense of smell is incredibly powerful. She can literally smell the difference between a dead tree root and a deadly living snake. Whispering instructions, Ivy uses her super smell to guide Ollie through the maze of sleeping monsters. They are inches away from the exit when a rock slips. The snakes awaken, hissing and striking from the shadows. They burst out of the cave, only to find themselves trapped at the edge of a massive, bottomless cliff. The snakes are closing in. Ollie is freezing up. He is terrified of heights. Seeing no other option, Ivy takes a running start and shoves Ollie right off the cliff. As they plummet toward the ground, Ivy leaps onto his back and screams at him to flap his wings. Fighting against every instinct in his brain, Ollie stretches out his massive green feathers. He catches an updraft, pulling them out of the dive just in time. For the first time, Ollie feels the breathtaking freedom of flight. And if you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to subscribe because more amazing movie stories are coming very soon. Safe in the air, you'd think the worst was over, but the valley is unforgiving. Soon, they are hunted by massive rock bears, creatures that track their prey purely by scent. Finally, they hear the roaring sound of the Great Waterfall. They land near the ruins of the ancient zoo orchards. The place is beautiful but haunted by the memory of what was lost. Sitting by the water, Ollie looks at Ivy and reveals a shocking secret. Years ago, when they were just kids, Ollie was the one who taught a young Javan bird how to crack open piplet husks to eat the food inside. He was the one who saved the birds from starvation, and that young bird was Ivy. Ivy's heart shatters. She realizes that her people took Ollie's kindness and used it to take over Puku Island. She had been living a life of comfort while her savior's family starved in the dark. Before Ivy can even apologize, the bushes explode. A pack of ferocious wolves ambushes them from the tree line. In the chaotic struggle to defend themselves, they accidentally smash right into a hidden magical pod growing on the rocks. Flash. Another burst of magic hits them, but instead of turning back into themselves, they shrink down, grow scales, and sprout fins. They've been turned into tiny booglefish. Helpless and flopping on the rocks, they are swept away by the raging currents of the river, plunging down the massive waterfall. Little did they know, the biggest shock of their lives was waiting for them at the bottom. They wash up in a dark, flooded cavern underneath the waterfall, and floating right in front of them is the wise booglefish who sent them on this quest. But the fish starts laughing, a deep, evil, terrifying laugh. The magic disguise melts away, revealing a towering, monstrous beast made of flames and shadow. It is the fire wolf, the ultimate villain of the valley. The fire wolf gloats, revealing the horrifying truth. The Zoe orchards didn't just disappear by accident. The fire wolf built a massive artificial dam, blocking the water and killing the magical trees on purpose. He created the food shortage so the animals would fight each other instead of uniting against him. He wanted to tear the whole valley apart. Realizing his secret is out, the fire wolf lunges. A brutal fight breaks out in the cavern. The monster is too strong. With a savage swipe of his flaming claws, the fire wolf strikes Ivy, sending her crashing into the rocks. She is badly injured and can't move. Ollie swims over, his tiny fish heart pounding. The fire wolf is closing in for the final strike. Ivy looks up weakly. "Run, Ollie, save yourself." But Ollie looks at her, tears in his eyes. "I'm not leaving you behind," he says fiercely. Spotting one last magical pod glowing near the base of the dam, Ollie uses every ounce of his strength to leap out of the water and slam into it. The magic erupts, but it doesn't turn him into a puku. It turns him into a massive, towering Zoe, a living tree of pure magical power. Using his immense new strength, Ollie roots himself into the stone and violently tears the artificial dam apart. Millions of gallons of water come crashing down in a spectacular flood. The fire wolf screams as the raging waters swallow him whole, drowning the monster and ending his reign of terror forever. But the flood is too powerful. Ollie, still in his heavy tree form, is swept away in the violent rapids. When the waters finally calm, the sun breaks through the clouds. The artificial lake is gone and the natural river flows again. Ivy, coughing up water, frantically searches the riverbank. But Ollie is nowhere to be found. She collapses in the mud, crying uncontrollably for the best friend she ever had. Days pass. With the water flowing freely, a miracle happens. The forest explodes with life. The magical Zoe orchards begin to grow back, producing endless food for everyone. Seeing the sacrifice that was made, the Javans and the Pukus finally forgive each other, merging their communities to live in peace. One morning, while Ivy is walking through the new orchards, the magical trees part. Standing there, completely alive and transformed back into his normal, furry little self, is Ollie. The magic of the returning Zoes had healed him. Ivy bursts into tears and runs to him, wrapping him in a massive hug. They return to their friends, greeted as the greatest heroes the valley has ever known. They proved that no matter how different we look on the outside, true friendship can conquer anything. Subscribe for more latest and interesting movie explanations. Till then, stay safe and take care.